Hi, I'm Rashonda. I'm the creator of this YouTube channel, as well as the artbyro.com website, where you can find over 250 art and drawing tutorials. So check that out, but not until you watch this video, of course, which today is going to be on how to draw some icy, snowy block letters. And this was a really fun drawing for me. I was doing it as part of kind of a practice to work through some ideas I had for some colors and some design ideas for a bigger picture. I'm doing them on artist trading cards because they're smaller and it allows me to do more artwork in less time, and it's really a good way to work through those ideas and concepts. So let's go ahead and go on over to the art studio and get started. Okay, today I'm going to be doing some icy, snowy block letters. And this is for a bigger picture that I want to work on. So inside the Facebook group, the Art by Row Facebook group, there's different challenges throughout the week. And one of the challenges on Fridays is to draw a word or draw something inspired by the word. And there's a challenge coming up for the word chill. And I have kind of a rough idea or concept of what I want to do for that drawing. So this is going to act as kind of a warm-up or a little bit of a practice to kind of work through some different things. So this is an artist trading card. They're really great for practicing different things. It's nice to make little portfolios. So I love working on artist trading cards. And today I'm going to work with the letter L. So I'm going to draw out kind of a rough guide. This is about where I want the letter to fall. And then I need to do the outline of the letter using that as my guide. And this is going to be a block letter, but I don't want it to be just a plain, boring, typical block letter. I want it to have a little bit of character to it. So we can do things like making areas of it wider, making some more narrow, adding some angles. You could do more of an angle, less of an angle. Clean it up a little bit if you need to so you can see what's going on. And then this is going to come out here. Maybe shorten that a bit. So just kind of play around with the different elements of it until you have something that looks interesting and also goes along with the word. So to me, chill and that cold to me is more blocky. Like I feel like bubble letters wouldn't work good for the word chill for the idea that I have of how I want to draw it out. So think about those things as you're doing it. If you're doing a word or a name that's kind of soft and cuddly, then you would want those rounded out shapes on your letters. So I'm going to make this kind of rough edges. So again, I'm just playing around with some ideas that I have for how I want to do this, the look that I'm going for. And typically whenever I do these kind of drawings, meaning the challenge type drawings, I like to try different things and push myself a little bit, experiment. So I think I'm going to leave this maybe as is for now. So the next thing I want to do, and is really what the topic of this video is I want to have some icicles at the bottom and some snow on the top. So for the icicles, we want them to come along the bottom and then hang down off the edge. And you want these to be a little wider at the top, and then they're going to get more narrow. And you can bring it, you can do some shorter ones. You can bring it right up to the letter, to the bottom edge of the letter, bring it down, make it kind of pointed at the bottom, come up a little wider. And then also make your lines a little bit uneven. You don't want them to be perfectly even lines. And as you're making them, I think it looks more interesting if you vary the lengths of them and not making the lengths all completely even. And then for where the letter is, you can erase that line altogether. You can soften that line up a bit. I think it looks better without that line there, but then you also have to tie in how they're going to be colored and how the two transition together, which is what's nice about working out these details on the artist trading cards first. I could do several of these in way less time than what it would take me to do a full drawing. And then if I went with some kind of style or drawing technique and I didn't like it, then I'm out a whole bunch of time. Where if I can work through it ahead of time, then I'm not wasting all that time on a bigger drawing, so it's nice. So we kind of want to do the same thing with the snow, but they're going to be more rounded. So you want to do that same variation of different lengths coming out, and then kind of extend it past where the letter's at, because the snow is clinging to something. So I have it come out just a little bit, so it's got something to hang on to rest there. And then all of these lines will get erased. The center line will end up getting erased. So that will come out like that. And then also down here, this is optional. We can put some more snow hanging down here. We can draw it out, see what it looks like. If it doesn't look good, then just erase it and leave it off. I think that looks okay. I like that there. You can still tell it's an L, so that's okay. Sometimes you might want the letter to be less recognizable, like in a wild style type of lettering. So that's your preference, that's up to you. So that's pretty much it for this part of the drawing. Now I need to add in some of my background, and then we can add some outlining and some ink to this. So for the background, I want to have, I'm thinking about having some mountains in the background and maybe like some northern lights coming down, some nice colors back there. Make it nice and colorful. So we need something for the mountains to rest on. And we don't really want it to look like the letters just kind of floating in the air. We could bring this up, maybe bring this up a little bit higher. So again, these are all things that you can just work through on a smaller scale, save yourself a whole lot of time. And then we could put some mountains back here. Nothing too crazy. Just something to kind of fill in the background a little bit. We can add a little bit more detail to that. And then back here, we're going to fill in those colors with maybe some kind of northern lights. I have this painting that I did, and I think those colors look good. I think that would be neat back here to have that with the snowy and icy lettering. So that's the idea I have for this. I'm going to try that out and see what it looks like on the smaller scale. And then if I don't like it, I can make some adjustments before I do my big drawing. So there's a lot of different ways to do these mountains. Since I have snow on my lettering, I will probably want to put some snow on here if it doesn't end up looking like kind of too much on there. And then I think for the shadows on the mountains, I might just use some different blues in there maybe. So I don't think I want to draw in any more detail there. I could add some shadows if I wanted. I might do that. So now the next step is to add the outline. And I just got this new set of Edding outlining pens. It comes in a set of 4. So this is my first time using these. I'm hoping they work well with markers. We're going to try it out and see how they work. They are permanent and waterproof, so they should be fine. So now I'm just going to go over top of all of these pencil lines. Again, I made this part of the letter a little bit wavy. And then I'm going to go ahead and outline the snow and the ice and everything too. Now this is going to depend on your style of your artwork and the look that you're going for. You may not want to outline in black. You might want to do a thin outline. You might want to do a bolder outline. Maybe you want to try, you might do it in gray or blue. So that's going to depend on the look and your style that you want for your drawing. But I like using black. I use black for most of my drawings. I'm just going right over top of everything. I'll go over the snow. And then I can take an eraser, so I have a big block eraser somewhere that I can, one of these guys, or you can use one of those pink erasers and then go right over top of everything. But before I do that, I want to try out this bigger marker, or pen rather, and add a little bit heavier of an outline to part of this letter here. And just make that a little bit bolder, maybe up underneath the snow a little bit. And I think for the bottom, I'll leave it. I don't want those icicles to have a real heavy outline. And then I might play around with adding some shadows to the mountain area. I could do some lines here. I could do just some hatching or cross hatching, just to add a little something to those. And you don't have to do it this way. You can use a different technique or just markers, add some shadows in there. So again, just trying some different things. If I don't like how it turns out, then when I do my bigger drawing, then I will leave that part out, change it, try something else. I could do several of these drawings and see what they look like and go from there. So now I'm going to erase all the pencil lines, and then it'll be time to add some color. All right, so I'm going to get some markers, finish erasing this, and I'll be back with you. For the letter, I'm going to do it in blue, and then I think what I'll do is make all of this black, because we're going to have a lot of lighter colors, a lot of white. So I think that'll be some nice contrast in there if this just gets filled in black. And for the letter, I'm going to do blue. And I have 3 different blues that I tested out on this little scrap piece that's left over from when I make my artist trading cards. There we go. Sorry about that. The camera wants to move. Let me fix that and I'll be right back. All right, little technical malfunctioning there. So as I was saying, I check out what the colors look like on a piece of scrap paper. And what I'm looking for is I want my colors to blend together, but they need to be slightly different, but close enough that they'll actually blend and make a smooth transition. Again, that's just the style that I like. That's the way I prefer to do my colors for my lettering especially. And for most of my work, I kind of follow that same system or that same technique for my colors. And then what I'll do is for this particular drawing, I'm going to start with darker blue at the top. And then I'm going to do a lighter blue. This is my medium blue. And then overlap a little bit. And when you overlap there, that'll blend those colors together. Bring this medium blue down as far as you want. Again, that's kind of a personal preference of what looks good. And then fill this in at the bottom. This is kind of a icy blue. This has a little more of, maybe a greenish tint to it, which I thought would look good for the icicles. But it's also close enough to the other blues that it all blends in together and there's not hard edges there, which is what I'm going for, is I don't want those hard edges. And then just touch up anywhere that needs a little touched up. And then for this bottom, I'm just going to fill it in solid black and see what that looks like. And like I mentioned before, the nice thing about doing the artist trading cards is they really don't take that long to do. If I was just working on this and not talking and making a video at the same time, it would probably take maybe 20 minutes. I could work through these ideas. So 20 minutes isn't a ton of time when you're considering how much it's going to save you if the picture you have in your head doesn't come out on paper the right way, which I think anybody who has made any types of drawings or artwork or anything, what you picture in your head doesn't always translate onto paper the way that you wanted it to. So being able to work through your ideas a little bit is nice. It's a good time saver, and it lets you experiment and try different things. I don't know that I would be brave enough to try filling this in with black if it was on my full-size drawing because I'm not entirely sure how this is going to turn out. But to me, that's what art is all about. It's trying things, trying different ideas, taking risks that may or may not turn out the way that you picture them in your head. But to me, that's where it gets fun, and this is where you come up with some different ideas and original drawings and concepts, but you have to be willing to take those risks and try things and hope for the best, and if they don't work out, then you try it again. So I'm going to go ahead and finish filling this in with black, and then I will be back to do the sky. So now I need to do the background, and to create that Northern Lights kind of effect that I want to make. So I'm going to start with some yellow, and I want to make it kind of uneven so I can get these colors to blend in together. Maybe carry it out into here a little bit. So just looking at what areas I want these to go, and I'm going to add a little bit darker yellow here. And then go back with the lighter one. And then I want some green in here. Maybe extend that out this way a little bit. Maybe a little bit over here. And then I want to add in some blue. I'll soften this edge up a little bit where the two meet. And I want to put some purple in here and some blues. So the blue is going to tie everything in together. So I could do a little purple up here, maybe a little bit down here. And then I want to have a little bit darker purple. Just kind of on the edges a little bit. And then from here we can transition into the blues and kind of tie that all in together. So I have a bunch of different blues pulled aside. And what I want to do is go from the darker and the lighter, sort of doing the same thing as what I did with the yellows, in making them kind of uneven and not necessarily following an exact pattern with them. And then just transitioning a little more into the lighter colors, and then tying that in with the greens and the yellows and the purples. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working on that, and I'll be back when I have that finished. finish up on the colors, I want to add just a little bit of light gray to the snow, just so it's not plain white. And then I have another gray here that's just a little bit darker. You could do some kind of a blue on here, but I feel like there's already a lot of blue, so I didn't necessarily want more blue, but there's too much white. So I can do the same thing up here. Just add a little bit of this gray up here. Maybe in the mountains here a little bit. And again, you could do blue if you want to do blue. You could leave it just plain white. And then just kind of soften that up a little bit. And then the last thing that I like to do with my drawings is to add some white with a Jelly Roll pen. So this is just a white Jelly Roll pen. You can add white to your letters. So maybe just some kind of like hash marks on here. And then for the sky, I want to make it look more like a night sky. So I'm going to put a lot of stars in here, make it look a little bit more like a galaxy. And as you're doing this and looking at the results and seeing what's working and what's not working, you could think about the colors that were used, what other colors maybe would be better. Would it be better to use darker colors? Maybe make it primarily blue and a little less of the other colors. So start asking yourself questions about what works and what doesn't work and what you could change and do better, and then just repeat this process and try again, do something different the next time. And working small, it's not going to take a ton of time. You can knock several of these out in an afternoon or a morning if you work in the mornings. So now I want to do like some shooting stars, maybe some little starburst effects, just so it's not a bunch of dots, or it just looks like it. Maybe it's supposed to be snow. And you could do snow if you wanted. You could just make a sky, make it look like a nice winter sky with some snow. So that's it for this letter. And adding some icicles and some snow to the top, and then tying it all together with a background that is intended to complement and add to the overall theme and feel of the drawing. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you feel inspired to make some of your own artwork. And I will see you in the next one. Happy creating! Well, that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you feel inspired to draw some of your own snowy, icy block letters. Don't forget to check out that description box before you leave. There's some links in there for you and some more information. And also, if you did enjoy the video, please give it a like, and then subscribe if you want to get notified of future videos. And I will see you next time. Bye!